Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the 71st Hour Gaming Podcast. I nearly fucked up there. Nearly said just podcast. It is specifically a gaming podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jamie, and as always, joined by my two extraordinary co-hosts, Ben and Nathan. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Chilling.
Pretty good.
I try and get a new adjective every week.
Do you look them up?
But the thing is that I only just thought of a new adjective just then, and so that's the first thing that came to mind.
Always leave it till last minute. I gotta love it.
Well, I mean, you saw that this document was not created until
Yeah,
until
real
last night
quick,
when I got home at like 1 a.m. It was not ready. And can you also tell that when I don't really know what the main topic should be, I always do this fucking easy hype check shit.
Yeah, you do
Behind the scenes, I'm
shit.
like, shit, I don't fucking know I don't know what to add here. Let's talk about what games are coming out this month.
It's pretty easy.
And it lined up pretty well because we're nearly in August. But yeah, how you guys been? Been a good week? Been a
Good.
busy
Chilling.
week?
Yeah.
Good.
That's good. That's
I'm
good.
mumbling as shit, so yeah.
Yeah, Ben has got just so many STDs in his
STDs.
mouth.
He's
and,
got
like,
warts in his mouth,
tongue,
bro. It's
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
too many
disgusting.
STDs,
Warted
too many
up.
STDs. Yeah,
on a
exactly.
on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. So Ben is not hosting because he is
Yeah,
just
too
black
much-
tar. He's been doing too much black tar heroin.
Too much
Like,
black
it's
tar.
Really.
I was gonna say something very, very different, but that's
I'm
okay.
glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. Anyway. Last week I know I started with a question, and usually I would be like, oh, let's do another question this week. But I didn't think of one. So we're just going to move on to the main topic of the week, which is, as I alluded to just before, let's talk about what games are coming out this month. Because it's surprisingly a busy month, which I feel like typically we'd have like the June rush of games, and then there'd be like nothing in July and August. And you know how I remember this is because August is when my birthday is. And, when my mom would always be like, oh, yeah, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, well, fuck, there's no games coming out. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's nothing to play. So,
Yeah, you are very well known for your shitty birthdays, so.
it's always been a shitty month for birthdays.
Yeah.
So you're about to say
August.
you're well known for your shitty taste in games. I was like, yeah, true.
Yeah, but I always remember that a Deus Ex game came out on my birthday. And that was cool because I was like, hey, this is a good timing. And this year, there's also a pretty cool game coming out on my birthday. So,
There you go.
there you go. But we'll start at the beginning of the month, as you should. Let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3, which I know we talked a little bit about it last week with that very weird, very strange whole discourse around this game
One sec,
last
I need
week.
to close my door so the sound stops coming in because the student
Sure.
pilots are out flying their planes. So.
These fucking student pilots, man, on a Saturday as well.
Yeah, bro, on a Saturday, man. You find
Ben,
planes
how
on
are you
Saturdays.
feeling about, we're a week away from this game. Because I know you've played a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3. Obviously, it's been in
Yes.
early access for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
What's the hype level for this game?
Oh, I'm extremely excited to have sex with bears.
Huh?
But
Well,
no,
you can
but
have sex with bears in this game. Like,
yeah, you can
okay,
have sex with
I'm
bears
in.
in this game. Yeah, exactly. No, legitimately, I am very, very excited for this. I have been very excited. As you know, I love D&D. This is literally D&D, the video game that's apparently really, really good. Yep. And yeah, no, it's just I can't really say. I'm just very excited. I am. I'm trying to not get overhyped because I know if I do, then I'm gonna be disappointed. But
Now the question is, are you going to finish this game before Starfield comes out?
yeah, see, that's the question because here's the issue: is that we have this, then we have Armored Core, and then a week after Armored Core, we have Starfield.
Dude, it's just it was actually nice in July to have a bit of like a respite. It was
Yeah,
a bit of a bit of
breather.
a lax kind of month. And then August comes along and we've got a 100 to 200 hour RPG coming out in the first week of the month.
Yeah.
It's funny, like obviously I am not a D&Der. I
A
think I'm pretty
D&Der.
vocal in not liking D&D,
Yeah.
having not actually done it. But yeah, I'm actually really excited for this just as like an entry point, I guess. Not to say that I would ever do D&D, but I mean, Larian makes some really fantastic RPGs, and I've always wanted to play the Divinity games, and so I feel like why not just play their kind of culmination of what they've been doing with Divinity for the last, over a decade. So, yeah, I know I'm actually really excited for this. I'm gonna play it mostly solo. I think I'm not. See, the thing is, like, I know you can do this in 4-player co-op, but I feel like you might lose something when you do it in co-op. And I know it's D&D and D&D is very cooperative and it makes sense to be in a group, but I feel like from like a storytelling perspective, I'm just not sure how I'd feel about experiencing it for the first time at least with a group of people.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm very excited for this. I'm guaranteeing I will not finish it before Starfield comes out, but I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that it doesn't feel like the game I'm gonna necessarily need to blast through really quickly.
Yeah, exactly. This is something you kind of take step by step.
Take slowly, yeah. And even like Starfield, I think is a game like that where it's, you know, like I'm not going to be racing to see the end of the game. And in the same way with this game, I'm not going to be racing to see the end of Baldur's Gate 3. But yeah, I'm actually surprisingly excited. And as someone who has sort of started to enjoy strategy games more as I've gotten older, I think I'm ready for a cool, like, it's real-time strategy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for a real-time strategy. I think I prefer that obviously to turn-based. So, yeah, very interested, intrigued, and I got the game downloaded, ready to go. Can't wait for August.
Pre-ordered.
I did
Yeah,
pre-order, and
Nathan.
I mean, there's two reasons. One,
Yeah.
I mean, I bought into the hype that everyone's been kind of spewing on the internet about this game, and then two, you get a free upgrade to like the deluxe edition. So it's
You
like,
do.
oh sure, I'll get
You
some free stuff. Why not?
Corporate shill. He's in.
But
He's
yeah, no, very
brainwashed.
excited for.
Yeah. Nathan,
And
what
I
about
think
you?
Larian's like I don't think they're gonna fuck this up at this point.
No,
Like I
no.
don't think it's gonna be
It's been 3 years in the making. Like,
exactly. And also just with their other Divinity Original Sin games, like all very, very well liked, critically acclaimed. And I think this is like the perfect time because I feel like Divinity Original Sin 2 was a game that probably should have been like nominated for Game of the Year that year, but it was kind of it's a very niche kind of genre, I'd say.
it is.
But I think Baldur's Gate 3 is getting enough kind of good press and there's a lot of goodwill behind Larian now that this is I could see this being nominated for Game of the Year this year.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Maybe over Starfield, I'm not sure. We'll see.
I was gonna say, Nathan, you're not excited for this at all, are you?
It doesn't really look like it's up my alley, but I might play it at some point. Definitely not over any of the games that are coming out soon. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's understandable. That's very understandable. Well, yeah. Cool.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
that's on
very-
the hype check scale. Is this hype or not hype?
Yeah, very hyped. Yeah.
I'd say I'm more hyped than not hyped, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll assume Nathan's not hyped.
yeah,
No, Nathan's very hyped.
I honestly don't know anything about it either. Like I've seen a small amount of gameplay.
D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so the cool thing about Baldur's Gate is that it seems like it's very much like you can not so much do anything, but you can sort of do things that you wouldn't normally do in a role playing game.
Yeah.
Like I know
have, like, spares.
Shadow said before that you can like if you've got a smaller character on your team, you can throw them at the
Yeah.
enemy
Yeah.
and do damage that way. And
Yeah,
like you can
yeah.
do stuff like that where it's like how D&D kind of works where it's like you go off the beaten track, you're not sticking to like the rules of typical fantasy.
Yeah. If you have like a friend as a barbarian, you got a gnome, you can then pick up your gnome and then throw it at someone and
Throw
deal
it.
damage. Yeah, it's really cool.
And there's
It's
also a
really fun.
chance, like I saw in the trailer, like there's a chance you can just like one hit enemies, a boss.
Yep.
Like just because it's, you know, depending on your stats and depending on the role you get, like
Yeah.
you could just do that. And that's really cool too. Also, you could get a really bad roll and like in a battle you think you're probably gonna there's a real high probability you're gonna win and like totally blindside you and like
Yeah.
fucks you up.
Yeah, it's D&D. It's great. It
Exactly,
literally,
exactly.
it feels really close to it. I really like it that way. It's really nice.
Good stuff. The fun thing about doing this hype check is that games that I were not on my radar always pop up, and that this game is a game that it was one of those games called Stray Gods, the role-playing musical. So have you guys ever heard of this game?
Not
Nope.
until I watched it this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like really interested in this. Mainly, I mean, the cast is like really great. Like you're seeing a lot of voice actors that you have seen in a lot of other games. And so I guess for this game in particular, I'll read like the description because it'll give you a sense of what the game actually is. So, in a modern fantasy world, college dropout Grace is granted the power of a muse. Power she'll need to find the truth behind her predecessor's death before time runs out. You'll decide who Grace allies with, who she can trust, and who may betray her in this beautifully hand-illustrated role-playing musical. I don't know who David Gator is, but I mean, the fact that they're saying written by him, I feel like he's probably written some stuff that we would probably know. But yeah, written by David Gator comes Stray Gods, an urban fantasy tale of finding your place, taking charge of your fate, and discovering answers. Your choices will change the endings as well as your path you take to get there. Which is great. I mean, it reminds me very much of like the Telltale style, like make your choices, that changes the outcomes and changes the ending. Like, love that stuff.
It looks very unique.
It does.
like
Musical.
never seen something like this before in a game.
And I appreciate it. So it looks like it's more, I'd say, visual novel than like Telltale, where you walk around. And I kind of dig that, because like the Telltale parts where you just walk around an environment investigating are my least favorite things. I'm least favorite components of that game, of their games. And so yeah, this is definitely on my radar now as like a thing that I'm going to watch out for, because super unique that it's a musical, super unique in terms of art style, as Nathan said, and I like making choices and seeing the consequences. So
Some notable things that the writer has done before. 2 Baldur's Gate 2 DLCs.
Oh wow. Okay.
Star
There you
Wars
go.
Knights of the Old Republic.
oh
Dragon Age Origins Awakening 2 Inquisition.
shit.
Anthem.
Anthem!
Oh,
Let's
well,
go!
maybe he just did the law, you know. Maybe so he worked at Bioware. There you go. Okay,
Yeah, that's most of his notable stuff.
that's
there,
cool. I mean, that's good stuff. Like, I mean, the Dragon Age games are fantastic. Knights of the Old Republic is also fantastic,
Also
and I mean,
really
Baldur's
good.
Gate 2 people say is like one of the best RPGs of all time. So that's actually really exciting. Then, yeah. There you go. I see. The thing is, like, I would say I'm hyped, but not hyped enough to. I'm not
Yeah.
going to play this on the 10th.
Yeah,
of
no, I'm not
August.
gonna play this on day.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, no, that's very exciting to me. That's great. And I like when games do like weird stuff like this. The dates
Yeah.
they delayed they delayed it from 3rd of August to get away from Baldur's Gate 3, which is very fair.
Understandable. Very understandable.
Yeah, that's probably a good move. But yeah, no, it looks cool. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'll play it
I-
at some point, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll play it at some point. When it, oh, here's the question: is it Game Pass?
No.
It's not Game Pass, but I don't think it's. I think it's a budget title.
Okay.
Yeah, it said it was on the
okay.
Humble store, so usually they're not cheap, but cheaper. I would say like under 40 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
makes
no
sense.
price on it at the moment
Yeah.
on Steam, but yeah. Another game that was not on my radar that sounds and looks kind of awesome
This was really
is Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which is coming out August 18th.
This is cool.
Have you guys heard of this game? Have you guys
Yeah,
seen
no,
anything
no,
about
look
it?
at something very similar to this or this a little while back.
Well, so
Yeah, there was a game like Quibblecop that was. Pretty
oh
similar to
yeah,
this.
that's right. The
Ah.
skating, the skateboard roguelite,
You're,
right?
Yeah, you're a skateboard roguelike. You're like a demon or like
Oh,
an
yeah.
angel.
So I
Yeah.
think this game is heavily inspired by Jet Set Radio, which
Yeah.
is a franchise that I've never played one of those games before, but has always been something that I've heard about as being like super beloved. And so yeah, this looks kind of cool. Like I like the art style. I like Tony Hawk style skateboarding games. So the
Yeah.
idea that this is just that, but there's like you're sort of you're doing graffiti and like you do like these cool like actions to do the graffiti and you're just skating around this cool world. And it says in here there's like 5 main boroughs to explore, and there's like a dynamic police system. So obviously the more graffiti you do, the higher your police rating goes up, and then you'll sort of be like evading the police while doing this too. It sounds really cool.
Yeah.
It's
It looks super
I-
old school, like exactly
It
like
does,
it's
I really
something
like
something
it.
you'd play on like the PS2 or something like that.
totally, and that's totally the vibe I think they're going for, and I think they nailed it. Honestly, like it's
Yeah.
got that like high. It looks like a PS2 game, but in the best way possible, I
Yeah.
guess. Like in a total like purposeful way, not like in a dig against it or anything like that. Yeah, no, it looks cool. I'm excited to see how this does, like review wise and perception wise. Yeah, very keen. What do you
Yeah.
guys think about it?
I can't wait for like somehow a developer listens. It's like that wasn't the art style we're going for at all. Like it wasn't the style of that.
Well, they accidentally did a very good mimic
job.
of the Jet Set Radio art style.
Look, this is the same situation as the last one. I'm not going to pick it up, but I am going to keep an eye out for it. You know what I mean?
I could see it being a Game Pass game at some point.
Yeah,
and that's not a
100%.
dig against it, but I could see like Microsoft seeing it and being like, hey, like that looks like something that would fit really well on our platform. And yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which is coming out August 18th.
Bomb Rush, Cyberfuck.
Fuck.
Got it.
You completely ruined the title for me forever.
Love it.
Another game coming out on August 18th is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
This is a great, wow, this is a fantastic
really good
footage.
scene
Yeah,
of
yeah,
footage,
Really
yeah,
good way
yeah.
to jump into it.
This is also from a technical test, so mileage may vary. It probably won't look like this when it releases
Yeah.
later in August. But yeah, I mean, this is an asymmetrical game where you got one person as the killer, and I believe 4 other people as survivors. And yeah, it's coming to Game Pass, and I mean, I'm down to check it out, but I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. I was gonna say, as we said before, it's gonna be that type of game where
Looks a little more interesting to me, but yeah, I mean it's basically that, right?
I just wish this
basically Dead by
person turned
Daylight.
off the motion blur on this. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The motion blur is a
It's-
bit much, a bit intense.
Yeah, a little
but-
bit.
It's basically Dead by Daylight, right? I wonder what the objectives are for the survivors. I wonder if it is.
They're
because
doing
Dead by
one
Day-
now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
but-
it's more like it's not so much like you're just doing generators. Like I think you're doing
yeah, you might be
different
able to go
actions in the
far.
same way that you would do a generator, I guess.
Yeah.
Like there, I guess they unlocked a tool.
Yeah, she was like
Um,
scrummaging through a toolbox, yeah.
The main thing I want to see is what the chasing is like. That's what I want to see. If
Yeah, I'll
it's
try and skip
more-
along because it's like this is a 9-hour
Massive. Yeah.
Jesus. If
like
it's
this
more
full
like
this
your,
guy's full session
if it's like your Dead by Daylight type of chasing where you can like run away and kind
and
of
like drop
pretend-
obstacles behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's
Or if
I think
like
it's a
Jason
mixture
4Ds where you
between
got
Dead by
weapons.
Daylight and Friday the 13th,
Yeah.
where
Or
like
where you got weapons and stuff like that to actually fight against him. Because like in Friday the 13th, you had like
well, there was the flare
shotguns
gun,
and-
right?
yeah,
And
just
then
flare
there
guns,
was some-
shotguns,
and the stun
stunning.
gun, yeah.
Mm.
And then if you were Tommy, you could become Tommy and then get the shotgun.
Yeah,
to
get a
do-
shotgun.
I think you could kill Freddy.
Oh yeah,
Jason,
so
not Freddy,
there was a very weird like roundabout way, but you could kill Jason.
There were
had to
like
get,
multiple ways to escape, and I wonder if that's the case in this game too.
Yeah, you can kill this. What's his name? What's the killer's name?
I actually don't remember the name.
Yeah.
I mean, they're part. So it says you can take on the role of
Leatherface,
one of the
Leatherface.
notorious Slaughter family. So like, I think there's
Leatherface.
multiple. You can either be the
Yeah.
dude with the chainsaw, or who's the son, right? I
That's
mean,
the
I've
son.
seen
Yep.
a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies,
Mhm.
but I honestly don't remember like the lore behind it
That
at
is
all.
the son. That is the son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do kind of
No.
hope there's multiple escape routes because that would kind of
That would make
give
it a lot
some
more
nice
interesting.
dynamicity
Yeah.
to it.
Dynamicity.
It's
Not a word,
so
but-
I'm confused. Like I don't see are all the other survivors here dead? Because like I'm surprised there's not like
Yeah,
a
why
lot
are we
of.
not seeing them on the map? You know what I mean? Like we're not seeing them anywhere. So I really would like to see
I'm skipping along a little bit. You know, we'll
Yeah,
just do it
where-
off the
where-
cuff a
where
little
the
bit. Look
chasing?
around. I want to see him actually as the killer, to be honest.
Yeah, as a killer, I want to see some chasing. Oh, that's a booty.
I think that the benefit of this is that it is going to be on Game Pass. Because
Yes.
these kind of games, like I'm not necessarily the type to probably buy them unless like everyone was like, oh yeah, dude, we're gonna
Yeah,
check
people are
this
really
out.
hyped for it.
But yeah, no, I think this will be. So that made noise. Okay, yeah, because
Yes,
it's
noise
funny.
is a
Like
nice
I've
word.
seen sort of like cinematic trailers for this game, but not a lot of actual gameplay. Like until this test they did a couple months back, I hadn't seen much of the gameplay. Like I know they did like this trailer where they were like, look how real this looks. Like this is like totally completely how the movie looked and kind of takes on that style. But yeah, I mean the gameplay is just it's Dead by Daylight mixed with
Yeah,
Friday the 13th.
Does he
Which is
play as the
fine. Like I
killer?
think that's kind of what you would do in this situation. Like I don't know. I don't see how you would kind of go a different route.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the hard thing is that with asymmetric, it's very like cut in line what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? It's very cut in line. So
I kind of wish this was like Friday the 13th where it was 1v7.
yeah, it's only 1v4. Yeah, they
I
would-
believe so. I actually I tried to find actual player counts and I couldn't. I saw like there's like the the co-op website where it's like we think it's gonna be 1v4.
Oh,
Like okay,
he's nearby. Oh, that's another survivor.
there's another survivor. There you go.
Oh, wait, was it the killer? He's holding a
Oh,
knife.
that actually might be one of the killers. He's just like an old dude, like
Old
he's just
janky
an
old
old
man.
guy.
man.
He's just hobbling
tackle
around
him.
with a knife.
Break all his bones.
I guess they had to because with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like really the only scary dude is the son, but then they've got the mother and the father as well, and like I think there's other siblings too. Oh yeah, and there's the old. Oh, you can kill that guy. Oh yeah, you can kill the grandpa. Okay,
Oh, Grandpa
Yeah.
immobilized. Okay.
that was a bit out of pocket to be honest.
Oh, he's running for it. Wait,
You think this would become super repetitive after a point if it's like this? Where
Oh,
it
yeah.
depends on how many maps there are.
yeah,
Like the thing that made
I'm just confused why
DVD
there's no like. I would expect there to be more like co-op kind of like helping each other, but I haven't seen
Not
any
seeing
other
it.
players unless they're all dead.
Oh no, there they are at the very top. Oh, they're
He's
escaping.
escaped. Okay, someone escaped.
So, the thing for me, it's like what make was that
Oh,
another
damn.
killer? Is
Yeah,
that another killer?
it's one of them.
Are there multiple killers?
Wait, can you?
It looks
can
like
you,
it.
Can you trade killers? Like, is there multiple on the map, and you can go to like a different one?
Maybe.
The map does look pretty big, so
It actually does look pretty big.
yeah.
Which I'm wondering if there's only one map. I don't know.
I'm a
This
little
chasing
confused.
doesn't look that good.
I'm also confused, but you know, hey, the good thing is also this is the last victim, okay? So everyone else is dead.
Mm.
Everyone else
So this
dead.
is the chasing. I gotta say I'm not a fan of the outline, the
Yeah,
red outline
I hate
around
that.
the
chasing
screen.
doesn't look that good.
But I'm not sure if it's lag. Like I don't know, it's hard to say if it's just like the because there's a okay.
Passed away.
Oh, you can bleed out, I
Yeah, she
guess.
bled out.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Did they kill a
I gotta
loser?
say this gameplay's not selling me, but
Yeah,
No,
not
gameplay's
really.
not selling me. Wait, I think I just saw the killer.
Oh, yep, he's back. So it doesn't look like they can cross those obstacles at all. So that's how you kind of juke them.
Oh,
Okay.
wow, that's really strong actually. Then
Yeah,
can he
it's
break
kinda
the
crazy.
obstacles? Can he break those?
Doesn't look like it.
Oh my god.
well, maybe
Wait.
you can. He just doesn't know how to.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't know what to
I
do with
hope
this.
you can because that is so strong. Otherwise, that
Because yeah, they've
you-
gone through quite a few that the killer just
Yeah.
didn't go through. So
Yeah, because it's
unless
barbed
it's
wired
like
up.
super slow for the killer to go through.
yeah, possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna find out all about how this game plays on
Yeah.
August 18th. When it comes to Game Pass and other platforms, I'm
let you
sure it's
know.
coming to everything.
Mm.
PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC. Actually, you know what? I gotta look that up. I'm wondering if it's coming to Game Pass on PC as well as Xbox.
Oh,
Oh,
please.
Because I've been under the assumption that that's the case, but
Time to buy an
Oh.
Xbox.
yeah, I'll have to check that. Anyways, moving on to the next game coming out in August is a game that I have heard a little bit about, but not a lot, to be honest. Fort Solis, which is another narrative choice-based game. I'm surprised. It's crazy how many of these are coming out recently, like within a month
Oh,
span.
is this the one where inside the port? Is it that one or is it something different?
you
With
play
the
as an engineer that is responding to an alert
Well,
on
okay, so
a
it's
station on Mars.
So
one's
the cool
different.
thing about this game is that it stars the voice actor for Arthur Morgan, who I can't remember his name.
Shit.
Is it Roger Craig Smith? No, that might be Sonic.
James Tinsel. Sorry.
Sonic.
that's-
And Troy Baker are the two main characters in this
shit,
game. Two
okay.
main performers, which is cool. But it's also a case of like, you know, are they just getting talent to like?
Boost it.
Yeah, it might be that's where the budget is. But that's a good sign. Like if you get two of the best mocap actors in the business to be your two main characters. And so yeah, this is essentially a game that takes place on the Red Planet, which is cool. I couldn't find like a proper long trailer.
Neither.
And so all I could get was just like this, where they're like explaining like some of the inspiration. I love that some of the inspiration is Dead Space. That's very cool. But yeah, so I'll read the description of the game and then we'll go from there. So responding to an unusual alarm call from a remote mining base, Jack arrives at the dark and desolate Fort Solis. With storm warnings imminent, he heads inside to make desperate contact. As the night grows longer, events escalate, spiral out of control, and the mystery of what happened to the crew begins to reveal itself. The storm is approaching, limiting Jack's escape as he looks to hold out until morning arrives. Sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
think
really
it looks
super
great
compelling.
from the small bits and pieces that were in this trailer.
I'm a little concerned when they don't show a lot, like because you know if we go to like Fort Solis,
it's quite heavily story based though, so maybe they're really just trying to hide it and like
see like it's just,
Yeah.
there's no gameplay.
maybe they really just don't want to show it to
Too
not
much.
spoil or to not.
It
you know,
could be a lot of spoilers that they do show it.
Possible.
So,
yeah.
could
But
be
yeah,
a little-
it's definitely a wait and see just because of how like I feel like I've seen a lot of trailers, but not a lot of what the game actually plays like. But it looks great. Like this is Unreal Engine, I believe Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
It looks like really, really good. Super, super clean graphics. And their emphasis on storytelling is obviously very interesting to me. So
I like
Yeah.
space. I play space game.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
So you've got the Expanse Telltale game and Fort Solis in a month. Like that's
Yeah. I think
very,
I'll
very-
enjoy this one just from what I've seen of it. But
I
yeah,
think so too.
We'll never know till it comes out, but just on how much we can see at the moment.
Yeah, it looks really, really stellar. I'm really
Yeah.
excited for it. Is that a hype for you, Ben? Are you looking forward to? Cause you're into the story
Bro.
based kind of games, but I don't know how into
Bro,
it
this
you are.
comes out 3 days before Armored Core.
Yeah,
That's
but
my
it might be.
issue.
You know, it might.
If it's short, I will play it.
It
If
might be a
it's
short
not,
game.
then I don't think I will. Otherwise, yes, I would say I'm pretty excited for it.
It could be a 20-hour game.
I
Yeah,
hope
that's my issue.
it's 10, 15-ish. Maybe.
If
more
it
on the
is, I
10
will
side.
definitely play it. If it is, I will definitely.
If it, yeah,
play it.
10 to 15 is a good sweet spot for a story-based
Yeah.
game, I'd say.
Depending on
Uh,
what the gameplay is like, then maybe less.
True. That's
Yeah.
very true. Moving on to another game coming out on August 22nd. Immortals of Aveum. I always fuck up with this name. So I think we did talk about this game. It was shown at like one of the PlayStation showcases, I
Yeah,
think.
months ago.
I'm gonna be honest, every time I see this game, I'm not really that impressed by it.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Which is
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, some of the previews I've heard about it where people have actually gone hands on have been like, oh, it's actually pretty fun. So like, I wonder if it's a case of like it doesn't look fun to play, but it actually is, like, when you actually got your hand on the sticks or mouse and keyboard, it's actually a better experience. Also, I think this gameplay is just super zoomed in. Like,
Yeah.
It is. It looks like it. Yeah, like that
FOV
arm is
is,
real
like,
close to the
30.
camera.
yeah, I think they're playing on console and there's
Yeah.
no FFV slider, so definitely a PC release for me. The thing that will probably make me play this is that it's an EA original, and I still have EA Play Pro, so technically I will have access to this game on August 22nd. But as Ben said, it is 3 days before Armored Core 6.
Exactly right. Yeah.
This game actually got delayed a month. It was meant to come out, I believe, like late July. Which would have been a perfect time for
Would've
it. Like, I think
perfect
that would have been the time where I'm like, oh yeah, I've got nothing to play in July.
Yeah.
Like, why not give it a go? But now that it's like end of August, which is like, it's 8 days away or 8 or 9 days away from Starfield early access, it's like, shit, man. Like, that's not the best timing for a game that I assume is going to be like around the 20-hour mark.
Yeah,
if I had to
exactly.
guess. But graphically, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks alright.
It does kind of give me. It sort of gives me Anthem vibes a
I was
little
gonna
bit.
Say, like Anthem Warframe for some reason. Like
Yeah.
it gives me
Anthem,
those
Warframe, and what was that? What was that PS exclusive that came out at the beginning with PS5?
vibes. Forspoken.
No. It was the one that was Godfall.
Oh god.
Like sort of like that vibe where it's like, it's sort of like Unreal Engine tech demo vibes. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's not so much that it looks a little uninspired visually.
It does.
Yeah.
Like it's visually good, but it does look a little like,
Set
I guess,
is just
generic.
kind of bland. Yeah.
Whenever
Yeah.
I see armor like this as well, armor like this always gives me that. It gives me the Godfall vibes, where it's just like generic, cool looking armor. You know what I mean? Like it's not really inspired by what maybe events are or something like that. It seems very just, oh, this looks cool. That's it. You know what I mean?
I do think a lot of the marketing has been like, look how different we are. We're like a magic-based game, but at the end of the day, it's still a shooter. Like it's just
still a shooter, right? Yeah.
it really is a first-person shooter, but you're taking out the bullets and just adding magic plasma
Yeah,
bolts. You
just got a gauntlet instead.
It also just
It doesn't
kind
look
of looks
satisfying.
it
It
looks
looks-
slow,
it looks like-
but
Yeah,
I'm not
it
sure if that's the
looks
person
very
playing it or if that's just
static,
how
right?
the game is.
It looks very static.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like nothing's happening. It's just like you're just
He's
shooting.
he's just clicking at the person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious how this game turns out. But
Yeah.
hey, if it reviews well, it'll be a game that I'll probably check out when it comes out on August 22nd. But if I finish it, we'll see. We'll see, because it's around a lot of good games that I think, or a lot of games that I'm more excited for, I'd say. We'll see if Armored Core 6 is good.
Yeah.
Moving on to August 24th. Now, the only reason I know about this game is because of Ben adding it to his
Yeah.
Fantasy Critic. So, Ben, have you played the first Blasphemous?
I started. I stopped because I started playing another game that came out. I forgot what it was. But basically, Blasphemous, it's a Metro video. It's a Metro video.
Okay. I like the art
it-
style.
From the bit I played like an hour of it. It's really good. And I'm going to definitely finish it before I go play Blasphemous 2.
I was gonna say it does seem like this is very much like a continuation, because like even on like when I got the description for this game, it's like this is an extension of like continuing on from the DLC of the first one. So it's like, hey, we're really telling a story here. Like you got to play the original game, you got to play the DLC to understand what's going on, I guess. But you can probably just jump into it. Like I don't think they necessarily want people to be like, yeah, you got to play this 40-hour Metroidvania, 40 hours
Is
of
it that long?
Metroidvania game. Well, I don't know.
Oh.
I'm assuming with the DLC, it's like what
Yeah, could be.
Metroidvania is usually what 20 hours.
20 hours ish.
DLC is
Yeah.
maybe like another 10, possibly, so like
Mm.
30 hours maybe. But the thing that strikes me right is like the art style looks
I was
great.
gonna say the thing that made me buy the first one immediately was the art style. The art style of these games are beautiful. Like it takes.
What is the story like? Like, is it heavy on the story, or is it sort of like, because
I
it
don't
seems
really-
like from the description of the game, they're like really pushing the story elements.
I'll be honest, I really don't know too much about the story.
I guess
I'm
you were
only
only an hour in, so
into
it's probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to finish it off before Blasphemous 2. I'm not playing Blasphemous 2 on release day because I know.
Oh
I won't be
well,
able
you're not
finish
going to
it.
play this game a day before Armored Core 6 comes out.
Exactly.
You're not going to
That's my
play this
issue.
20-hour Metroidvania game.
Yeah, just spend an entire day just playing
playing
this game,
Blasphemous,
finishing
yeah.
it.
You get stuck on a boss and you just start fucking throwing controllers.
Yeah,
You're like, I need to finish this fucking game.
I get really stressed out, like emotionally, like
It is a
distraught.
difficult game, right? Like it's sort of.
It is. It
yeah,
is.
okay.
The bit I played of it, it is quite challenging. Like I only got to like the first boss, and yeah, it definitely is a
Kicked your
challenging
ass.
game. It kicked my ass. Yeah. It
Looks
reminded
great.
me a
Like I
lot
really
of,
enjoy like how the movesets and like the
yeah,
abilities
that's
and
the one thing
stuff,
that
yeah.
was really cool about the game is that each of the move sets, they feel chunky. They feel like they hit really hard, and a lot of the magic.
of
You
impact,
saw the
yeah.
one there. You like kind of wrap a guy in thorns, and like it breaks apart and shit. There's a lot of really cool and unique different attacks that you have throughout this.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really cool. It's really really cool. My
Nathan, are you
daughters-
into Metroidvania games?
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where like I have played them in the past and I like them, but
Sure.
I find comparing them to actual Metroid so
Yeah.
tricky because I've been playing Metroid for so long that every time I play a Metroidvania, I'm like, I just want to play Metroid again.
Yeah, Metroid's the gold standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that too.
Yeah.
I think there are some standouts in the Metroidvania genre, but
Definitely.
But yeah, Metroid seems like the.
I see.
Metroid seems like that's like the pinnacle, I guess. But then you've also got stuff like, I don't know, like I would consider, what's it called? Why am I Hollow Knight? Hollow Knight's like a fantastic Metroidvania.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to compare it to Hollow Knight because it is
And
very
even like Ori is
similar.
a Metroidvania
platform
too.
Metroidvania, yeah.
Yeah, like
Ori
it's
is-
I'd say it's more platformer than a Metroidvania, but it still has Metroidvania elements. But yeah, no, I think this looks great, and I do love Metroidvanias. I just feel like I start too many of them and never finish them.
Yeah, you overwhelm yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also find like, particularly, I feel like it's with Metroid a lot of the time. I fucking hate when they're like, shove a missile on every wall to find. And
Yeah.
Metroid Dread was less like that, which was good.
I do
But
have to
yeah,
play
some
Dread.
of the old school Metroid games where it's like, yeah, you just gotta shoot at every wall until you find the opening. It's like,
You don't,
and I feel
you
like a
don't
lot of
have
indie games
to.
are like
They're
that. You don't
technically
have to.
secrets. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I feel like some indie devs have taken that and like turned it up to 11.
Yeah.
Where like in terms of like finding where you have to go. I'm not sure if Blasphemous is like that, but yeah, I'm definitely, it's on my list to check out at some point, and I think I will check
Yes.
out the first one, obviously before the sequel. So,
Mhm.
so yeah. Next
Now the
up
big boy.
is I'd say probably the most exciting game of the month. Although you know a strong second is Baldur's Gate 3, but yeah, Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon comes out August 25th. Very very excited for this. There were just some previews that dropped a couple days ago. That just man, this game looks fucking excellent.
I was already so excited after seeing like little tidbits of gameplay and whatnot, what the story was, and then this gameplay trailer dropped.
I'm skipping along
and
to where is the part where he fights?
Man, wait, what are you after?
I'm looking for the part where he fights the thing with the, I don't know, did he show it with the missiles?
Oh no, that clip I sent you.
Yeah.
That was from a YouTuber.
Well, this is Vati Vidya, so I feel like
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah,
it's
it is.
20
It should
minutes
be
of
around-
gameplay.
If it is, it should be around the end-ish of where he did it. Yeah,
I just love how quick this is, man. Like
bro,
it's just,
it's so cool. Like I am so excited.
I love the thing that I like most from this gameplay is how you sort of have that part where you're dashing, but you're sort of using the jets, and so you're sort of skating around. And I
It's
know
really
this has
cool.
been in other Armored Core games. I just never played them because they were super niche and no one ever really talked about them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just excited to see what From Software does with in a post Souls like world for them, where like, and I know this is not going to be a Souls like. There's not going to be bonfires or
Yeah.
that sort of same kind of gameplay loop, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But it does have sort of that production value
It does.
that you see in Souls games, and
Oh, here it is. Here's the
dude,
boss.
this looks
This
excellent, man.
there's a moment in this fight where I'll wait for him to actually do it, but it looks so cool. But like even the customization in this game is insane. Like the customization is so cool. The little like niche things you can do to increase your jets or health and whatnot. How your armor looks and whatnot. So you can see he has a red and yellow mech.
He called this one the Samus build.
Yeah, you can do all of these different mechs. It's really cool. This game is like
Yeah, like
it's
I
just
mean,
sick.
we could both go through this game and kind of have completely different mechs, you know, for
Yeah.
different situations. And like, you may find that the plasma shield's good for this fight, but I'm using like double assault rifles. Like, so much
Here we
customization
go.
and
Wait,
so much
here's this bit. This
opportunity
it's
for
just,
building.
Oh, it's so cool. Sorry.
It's very,
Yeah.
very cool. It actually reminds me of like the bullet hell stuff in
Yeah.
Returnal, where it's just like you are getting peppered with just tons and tons of projectiles and yeah, I'm very, very excited for this game. And I'm actually curious like how much I'll enjoy it. Just because I know like from looking at it, it looks great and fun and I'm very excited for it. But it is obviously not a Souls game, and so that's typically what
Yeah.
I've enjoyed most from Software. And so I'm excited to see what their Armored Core franchise is like.
Yeah. Because they've definitely taken elements from Dark Souls and Sekiro and whatnot. Like they have the stagger
Sure.
meter here from Sekiro. They have dodge from Dark Souls. They have like your SS flash S type thing from Dark Souls as well. You know what I
Sure.
mean? The one thing I really like about this as well, this game, is that like if you die to boss, okay, and you realize that boss is like firing off like a lot of projectiles like that at you, and you're running a really heavy tank mech, what you can do is you can go into the garage just before the boss and redo your mech for when you go into the boss, right? Which is really cool. It's a really cool idea. So you don't have to go through the entirety of the level again. You can just go to the boss and just redo the boss.
But so the cool thing is, so each level is replayable. And there's like a ranking system, so you can S rank certain levels. And I believe to get S rank, you need to go through the whole level with a single mech build,
Yes.
and you can't. I believe you can't die.
Yeah.
Like you have
and
to do this
in a certain amount of
the
time,
level
you can't die.
flawlessly. Yeah.
It's pretty insane. It's like getting S rank will be very difficult. They'll give you shit for getting S rank. You'll get shit for getting S rank. Like
Yeah, I'm wondering what the reward system will be like for
Mm.
that rating system.
Mhm.
And a couple of cool things about this, they've said that to do probably everything in the game, it's around 40 to 50 hours.
Yeah.
Which I'd say that's about fair for 100%. That's
Yeah, they said 20
Um,
hours to complete all the missions, about 40 to 50 to 100%.
to do everything.
Yeah.
And this is also the first game that From Software is releasing on PC that is not capped at 60 FPS.
Yeah, thank God.
It's capped at 120, thank God. Which is I mean, I would love uncapped, but
Still
we'll
capped
take
for some reason.
We'll take
Yeah.
120. You know, obviously all the physics attached
I
to the
know
frame
why,
rate. I
but
guess
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We'll take the 120 cap, and
I'm fine with
hopefully
120.
the next game will be uncapped, and we can just do any frame rate. Hey, maybe they'll allow widescreen at some point, ultra wide. You know,
Yeah,
possibly
maybe.
without me having
But-
to mod the game to put it in. You know.
Yeah. But no, this is
Very excited for this. I will say
Very.
one negative that I've seen from the previews and even looking at it is that I'm not necessarily super like the environments don't look that great. Like I think
Yeah,
they
it's
like
a lot of, like,
compared to like
factory-
Elden Ring or like Dark Souls or even Bloodborne, like I think they had really inspired looking locations, but like the super corporate kind of factory look
yeah.
it looks a little uninspired and looks a little bland, I'd say.
Yeah.
But because you're going through these levels so quickly, it's probably not the worst thing. And it's not really based around so much of like the discovery, I would say. I know in Vati Vidya's video, he said that like there are some optional bosses you can come across, and like if you kill them, you get like rewards that helps you unlock new upgrades. But it's not as kind of that's not really like a pillar of this game where you're like going through every single like corner of each level so
Yeah.
much. But yeah, no, I just think it looks like, I think like the open, like this stuff looks kind of cool where you're like out of the factory, but when the second you get into it, it just looks a bit like, yeah, it's a factory. Like
yeah.
It's as good as you can probably get it when it comes to From Software, but I just think their fantasy stuff looks a lot better.
I don't think it's gonna be based like all of the missions are gonna be inside the factory. I don't think they're all gonna be. I think we're gonna have.
But it's always gonna have that sort of like
that. It's gonna have the same look, right? It's
that tech punk sort of like industrialist kind of.
I just can't wait for the crossover and for I don't know Godfrey to show up and.
But yeah, very very excited for this game.
It's very cool. It's very cool.
It's definitely hotly anticipated for me, and God help me trying to finish this game in a week.
Yeah,
it's not happening. It's not happening. So there's a couple of other games coming out on August 29th. Have you guys? So the first one is this one. Man,
we covered this at some point before.
We have covered this game at some point. This is Goodbye Volcano High. This is the one where I saw it and I was like, this is some furry shit. But I looked into it because it is once again another story-based game. But the setup is that you are a dinosaur, and a meteor is coming to Earth, like to end everything, right?
This trailer changed my mind on it. I'm gonna be honest. I actually didn't mind this trailer. I thought it was okay.
No, I think it looks obviously like they're anamorphic. You know, they look a little fucking weird. But the idea that it's a cinematic narrative adventure, there is some like music elements where you're like playing with your band and like kind of
too.
Yeah, absolutely. And like grappling with like the idea that like everything's about to end soon. So like, what the fuck? I think it's a cool idea. This game has been in development for ages. Like it was announced with the PS5 back in like June 2020. So it's been a long time coming. And I'm definitely interested by it for sure. But I can't get over like how just the look of it, you know, just like the human dinosaurs. It's like, but if it's got a good story, I'm down to check it out for sure.
Yeah, before I definitely had that same thought where I was like, this is just some like aimed at furry stuff. But this trailer kind of changed my mind about it. It seems kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like the story seems like it legitimately might be there and might be worth it.
Absolutely. Yep. Tons of really, really cool narrative-based games coming out, which is always very exciting.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm all about those narratives, you know. Moving aside from narrative-based games, let's talk about Sea of Stars, which is coming out also on August 29th. I feel like we've talked about this a decent amount. It's a turn-based RPG inspired by the classics. It tells the story of two children of the solstice who will combine their powers of the sun and moon to perform eclipse magic, the only force capable of fending off the monstrous creations of the evil alchemist known as the Fleshmancer. The really exciting thing about this game is that it's by the team that did The Messenger, which was very much inspired by the old school 2D Ninja Gaiden. And I fucking love The Messenger. Like The Messenger was a fantastic game in like sort of like action adventure meta commentary mixed with like really smart writing, mixed with really, really super awesome combat. And a great mid-game twist that you probably know about it, but I honestly don't want to spoil it because it's like probably one of the best twists in a game I've ever played. Like it's like fantastic. It's like a visual twist. Yeah. So I'm very excited for Sea of Stars because this team is super, super talented. They have I believe the composer of the original, some of the original like turn-based RPGs of I think Chrono Trigger is the main one. So they're very, very much like super inspired by those games. And I mean, the art style looks fantastic, looks really, really good. And this team's caliber is like exceptional. So I've got nothing but hype for this game. Also, a big thing is it's coming to Game Pass and PS Plus on the same day, which is like the first game to do that. So everyone can play Sea of Stars on August 29th. How do you guys feel about this? Like,
it's not down my alley, these sorts of games, but it's free, so I might give it a look.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. And I already know it's going to have fantastic writing. So yeah, that is all the games coming out in August. All the games that I saw, like, to be fair, there's a lot of others,
All
but
the games that are worth caring about.
they're the games that I would say put on your radar, you know? And honestly, that's a really great list. There's some really great stuff coming out in August. Me personally, obviously, Baldur's Gate 3 and Armored Core 6 are the ones that are piquing most of my interest, but
both of which I'm not super keen for. The list is middling for me.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Hey, you got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know? That's,
bro.
Oh, great.
Get hyped.
Yeah, what a great game. I mean, I gotta be honest. I was a little more excited for it until we watched more of that gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a little bit of that gameplay, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then that chase scene happened. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe this isn't as good as you think it's gonna be.
Yeah, but hey, it'll be fun to laugh at. You know, I think it'll be a bit of a laugh. Moving on to, I've got a couple of news stories.
Now you got to say the segment name, Jamie, until you come up with a new one.
It's a hot fix, dude. You guys ready for your hot fix? One day I'll come up with a better name, you know, or maybe you can, you know, Ben, you come up with a better name.
Force it on me, okay.
I'm the IT man.
Yeah, Nathan's running the whole show. Without him, we'd be like on the street.
You got a how-to guide and a download for OBS.
That's true. That's true. I was so scared. I was scared running the show twice.
We spent like half an hour, and you were like constantly fiddling with everything to make sure.
I was worried. I was like, I don't want to do this whole podcast, and then it's just gone. It's just deleted. It just wiped all this. So actually, so the big news that dropped today. I don't have any video for this. I'm sorry, Nathan. You're just gonna have to have our beautiful faces on the screen. Final Fantasy XIV Online is coming to Xbox Series X and S in spring 2024. Finally, you know, for those Xbox people that have been complaining that I can't believe it wasn't already there for this amount of time.
Been out for ages.
I know. It was like it came out in 2013.
2013,
like
Jesus.
it came out in 2013, was critically panned, and then they had to remake the entire game.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy that it's taken this long. It's really cool. It's obviously going to be 4K support on Series X, faster loading times, and there's going to be an open beta. And then they specify there's a duty support system that allows single player fans to enjoy the story at their own pace. That's all great. That's great stuff. The important thing about this is that from Phil's tweet, he said, we look forward to partnering closely with Square Enix on future games, which I think is a big deal because a lot of Final Fantasy games and a lot of Square Enix games have just been skipping Xbox, essentially, because there's just, you know, in terms of porting it to the console, it's just not worth it because there's not the fan base there. But I think it's a vicious cycle where you don't port games to the console, so you don't build up a fan base there because the games aren't there.
Sure.
So I can't imagine how much Xbox paid for this, because I can't imagine Square Enix being like, oh yes, we will put all this time and energy into porting this to a console that not a lot of people are like interested in JRPGs, I'd say. But it's cool. Like, you know, Final Fantasy XIV Online is one of the best MMOs out there. It's a big deal. I think it's a big deal that they're partnering closely with Square Enix. Let's see if those actually, you know, that actually happens. But it's cool. It's cool that we're finally, you know, more games are going to more platforms. That's always a good thing. And that's what Xbox has been pushing for the longest time. So good stuff. Is this going to get you guys to play Final Fantasy XIV?
No.
On a platform you guys don't own. Yeah. I didn't think so.
I got Xbox One. Isn't it coming to Xbox One?
No, yeah, can't be done. No, just Series X and S. So you can get a $500 console to play it. No?
How much do you reckon I could get for trade-in for an Xbox One these days? $20?
I actually don't think EB Games accepts them anymore.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think they do. Yeah,
I think they're only just now accepting One S's. That's it. Like these.
Oh no.
Oh, and One X. But yeah, no Xbox One
Please
originals.
take it from me.
They're like, we'll take it to the dump for you if you want.
Yeah.
We'll just like smash it. No, you gotta keep that Xbox One for when you play Starfield in the cloud on Xbox One, which you can do.
Oh, it's just a cloud console. Yeah.
The Xbox One owners can still play these exclusives.
It's got more than enough horsepower for cloud gaming, actually. So yeah, I mean, if that's a use for it, sure. 1080p.
I think it's honestly Microsoft's way of like not, you know, all the Xbox One owners who are like, oh, you're ditching us. It's like, well, you can play it technically, but you should just get the new console.
Yeah, give us.
So that's cool. It's a cool news story. I think. I'm probably not going to play an MMO on an Xbox. No, probably not. I can't imagine like. I mean, they must have gotten the button mapping down, but I can't imagine playing an MMO like Final Fantasy XIV on a controller.
Would be weird.
Or any MMO, honestly. Except maybe like, Destiny, but that's
Yeah, Destiny. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Elder
MMO
Scrolls
light.
might work as well.
Elder Scrolls, yeah, that also might work.
Yeah.
Guild Wars.
Obviously it does, it's
2
on
would
console.
also work.
Guild Wars 2 has.
Yeah, that would also work.
Is Guild Wars on console or just PC?
Look it up.
I think it is. I don't know.
We're coming up with more examples of it working than not at this point.
Nope, no console.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But I think like you couldn't put WoW couldn't work.
No.
Yeah, I
on
don't think it
controller.
would. There's way too many things that you need to access.
Do you think when Microsoft acquires Activision, they'll release WoW on Xbox?
Mm,
That'd be pretty big.
Attempt to. Do
that would be big.
you think
I don't
they'll
know if
put
they
WoW
will,
on
though.
Game Pass?
I don't know.
Yeah, Game Pass maybe. Yeah.
I would think Game Pass.
Do
That
you think
would make sense.
they'll put a WoW subscription included with Game Pass?
Yeah, I don't
That's-
know, man.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's
it
a lot
is.
of money.
Like that's
That's
a
a
ton
lot
of
of
money.
money.
Or do you reckon they'll have like a Game Pass plus WoW, and it's like cheaper than, so it's more expensive than the WoW pass, but it's cheaper than both.
Or you get a bit of monthly gold
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go towards your subscription,
Yeah.
but it's not fully the full amount. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what
It would be.
Activision Blizzard games end up on Game Pass and which ones don't.
Mhm.
I would say the majority of them will, but
Oh yeah.
Hope so.
yeah, WoW is interesting for sure.
On that note, before we move on to the next one, I saw a news story this morning that the Modern Warfare 2 servers have been shut down because there are bugs in the game that let you spread malware.
Oh, wait,
And-
on like the every or PC servers.
Yeah, PC, because that's the only thing that malware works on, really.
So Modern Warfare 2 2009 servers.
yes, yeah.
I was like, shit, that's a
no,
news
no,
story.
yeah.
If it's the Modern Warfare 2,
No,
like
no, no,
last
no,
year's
no.
Modern Warfare 2
servers?
servers, they're shutting them
that'd be
down.
so
spreading
bad.
malware.
Yeah, and so apparently people have found examples of worms spreading, and so the idea of the worm being that one person infects another person, and then that other person infects 15 people, and then those 15 people infect 150 people,
Oh,
and then
shit.
bang, bang, bang.
It's
So they shut the servers
exponential.
down.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, I really hope they fix those servers.
Mm.
You know, like, or in a better world, make them dedicated servers. You know,
That
because
would
they're
be good.
still actually is Modern Warfare 2 2009 on peer to peer,
Yeah.
or is it dedicated?
No,
Pretty
the
sure
new
it's
one would
peer-to-peer.
be.
Well, the
Oh,
new
sorry,
one's
yeah.
dedicated.
Yeah, no, the old one would still be peer to peer, I'd say.
I think
I remember,
everyone
like-
until BO2 is peer to peer.
I know it's peer to peer on console.
Yeah, I'd say it would be on PC as well.
Yeah, I don't imagine it would
Crazy.
definitely be PC.
Yeah. I remember how it was a big thing when COD moved to dedicated servers finally.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
an asterisk at the bottom of that story. I have not verified these things. This is just a story that I read on some gaming site. So
Sure.
could be complete bullshit.
Could be
but
cool, all bullshit.
I can see it being
I,
real.
I, you know, when you brought that up, I do remember reading something about them being shut down.
Mhm.
The Modern Warfare 2
Same.
2009 servers, so on PC. Fingers crossed they get rid of the hackers on console. You know, because
Yeah,
that's
that'd be good.
one of the issues at the moment. Is still around. You know.
Mhm.
Speaking of old games coming back, let's talk about the Red Dead Redemption remaster. Specifically, that some data has been found in a site update. Some sweet data. So recent data dug up by prominent Rockstar leaker Tez2 suggests that the firm is gearing up to reveal the Red Dead Redemption remaster that everyone is waiting for. In a post on Twitter, Tez2 revealed a new logo alongside with a codename RDR1 RSP and a new game title, Red Dead Redemption Rockstar Presents version. So, you know, this is just a new logo where imagine the Red Dead Redemption logo, but at the top it says Rockstar Games Presents. I mean, this is basically confirmation. Like, I can't
Yeah.
imagine them making a new logo for a game that came out literally 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Seems like it's happening, and maybe soon. You know, like maybe we get an announcement like next week, possibly. I know that the rumor was it gets announced in August and releases in November, which would be nuts. It would be insane. My question is, first of all, are you excited for this?
Yes.
Oh, of course.
Yes, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna play it naturally. You're
Yeah.
probably
No,
gonna
no,
play
no.
Red Dead Redemption 1.
No.
This will be the first time it's
No,
on
yeah,
PC
well.
as well. First time
Yeah,
it's on
yeah,
PC
exactly,
as well,
right?
which is very exciting.
Bro, do you well, okay, I'll let you ask you a question, Jamie, and I have my question of my own.
What?
Huh?
Oh, you want me to ask a question and you
keep
last
going.
one? Okay,
I know
okay,
you have
sorry,
more
sorry.
questions, and then
Yes,
I have
yeah,
questions
yeah,
of my own.
So, what are your expectations? Like, are you imagining this being built from the ground up for RDR2's engine?
I hope so.
Or
hope.
is it
I
just
don't
going to
think
be the original game resolution bumped up to 4K, frame rate
I think
uncapped on
that.
PC?
That's my
I think it's gonna be
expectation.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
really
hope
hope
it's the
it's- I
first
really hope
one.
it's a
Probably gonna
remake.
be the second one.
Yeah. I think
just
that's
think
a lot of
that's so
effort to
much
go Red Dead
time.
Redemption
Yeah.
2. Yeah.
It's a lot of
like
resources
massive.
for an older game.
Especially
I
because
just-
of like if they actually want to go to the like attention to detail effort that they went to in RDR2. I don't think they would, but
I don't think they do that. I think
Yeah.
it would just be a visual. I mean, the fact that, you know, I guess mild spoilers for RDR2, Red Dead Redemption 1's map is in Red Dead Redemption 2.
yeah, that's true.
So like they've got the maps there. They just have to.
That's true.
And they do have a lot of the player models. There are
Yep.
some that have to obviously redo.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be as hard as
That's why I think it may actually be harder to port Red Dead 1, the 360 version, to PC.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah, you make a good point there actually.
I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
I know that Red Dead Redemption 1 on like Series X is already running at 4K, but also to get that running at 60 FPS, and did they do the thing where physics are all attached to 30 FPS, and like
Yeah.
it may actually be the case where it's easier to just take the foundation of RDR2 and apply it to Red Dead Redemption 1. I hope that's the case.
Yeah,
I think that would
hopefully.
be such a cool announcement, and much more worth it, I'd say. Although it is still worth it, I think, to even just have the remaster on PC, be able to play. Do you think they'll include Red Dead Online, the original online?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
I
I
think,
would say not, just because of
Really?
Red Dead Redemption 2 existing.
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
they're not.
Oh,
They're not even
but-
supporting that.
They're not
You know what I
supporting that
mean.
anymore,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
that's true. I'm not sure. I feel like it would
Probably.
just be the single player.
Yeah.
My question was, do you think Undead Nightmare is gonna come dead with it?
It has to. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That's
That would be such.
Yeah.
That would be such a fucking. That would be so disappointing if they
Mm.
missed.
It would be.
If they didn't bring back Undead Nightmare as well.
Do
Because
you
I
think Undead
like
Nightmare
I
is gonna have
started Undead
multiplayer?
Nightmare, never finished it.
Do you think Undead
would love
Nightmare is
to.
gonna have multiplayer? Because it did on the Xbox 360.
There were multiplayer modes for Undead Nightmare. That's right.
because there was like horde mode and shit like that.
I don't think they do. I think they either do. I think there's more chance they leave out multiplayer and just do
Yeah.
it like as a single player package. Because you've seen a lot of other remasters do that. Like I know that like the Uncharted collection on PlayStation 4 left out Uncharted 2 and 3's multiplayer. That's the only example I have. To be honest, because
So
I was like
many.
Halo obviously kept multiplayer naturally.
it makes sense.
Halo
not to put
gets
it in.
rid of
It's a single player
multiplayer.
game.
Could you imagine if it was just the Halo campaign? Honestly, it probably would have saved them a lot because
Yeah.
So
it was
funny.
multiplayer was really bad, really
The
bad.
one thing that
at
was
launch.
broken about it.
Yeah, yeah, and co-op was also very broken as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they released it with no co-op, no
Co-op?
multiplayer? Oh my
Single
god,
player Halo campaign. W.
that would have been so bad.
Really funny.
But yeah, I'm just because obviously the previous remaster that Rockstar did, unfortunately, obviously there's no multiplayer attached to like San Andreas. So,
Oh,
I'm
shit.
I'm
Forgot
interested.
That's the same company here.
Surely not the same. Surely they didn't get the mobile game developers.
this
to
is
do
surely
this.
not a port.
What's
I know
who
it's
are they
not,
called again? The Grove Street Games or whatever? Is that them?
Was that actually-
can't
Is there a Red Dead Redemption 1 mobile port?
Fortunately, there's not.
yes, good.
Yeah, Grove
Should be
Street
right then.
Games did. Oh no, they didn't. Who the fuck is this? Yeah, they did. Yeah, sorry, they did. Yeah, they.
Who the fuck is this?
Well, it's just their logo is very strange. Like it's not what you'd expect. Look, this is the
Wait,
logo.
Send it.
Just show it on screen.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look. Oh my god. Get off the screen. Look.
What
That's
is
kinda
that?
Yeah.
Weird.
Bruh.
It just looks very not GTA.
They call
know.
it War Drum Studios. That's what they used to be called.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And like bought up by Rockstar. Yeah, I'm excited for this. It seems
yeah.
like it's basically a guarantee, and it's a guarantee that it seems like it's coming out this year. Because like every leaker under the sun is talking about it. Although to be fair, I feel like sometimes with leaking culture, it's sort of like they dogpile. Like they're like, oh well, this person said that, so I'll just give them a little bit more because I've heard other stuff too. But it's all they may be coming from the same source that's not accurate at all. So.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see. But this logo is basically confirmation that it's
It is.
happening. And the fact that they're updating the website would lead me to believe that it's probably happening soon. Because I don't know why you would, put that information on that website unless it was you were waiting for an imminent.
yeah, they're getting ready to
release.
flip the switch, basically.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, very exciting because obviously I love Red Dead Redemption 2, but I really love RDR1. Like I
RDR1
love
is
that
so good.
experience, and like we could talk about how Mexico is like, oh, when you go to Mexico, it's like the downturn of the game. But that initial part in America, and even the end when you go up into like the snowy part of the map, and you've got like the grizzly bears, and like, yeah, it's a fantastic game, and I can't wait to play it again for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
All right. Well, I think
Okay.
it's time to talk about what we've been playing this week. Who would like to go first? Nathan, would you like to go first?
Yeah, we'll go first. It's not a particularly long one, so
Sure.
we'll see. Let's see
What
how this
about-
gameplay you've chosen turns out to be.
Yeah,
Maybe
Yeah,
this
exactly. I'm pretty
was
excited.
released 14 hours ago, so
yeah, it's fresh off the pass, mate.
yeah, this is gameplay from the new season of Battlefield 2042 on an old map.
Yep.
So
But
how have you been enjoying Battlefield 2042?
We played a little together, and I
did?
played probably another like 5 or 6 hours by myself throughout the week. I think it's as good as 2042 is going to be. I think that it's in a position where if you want to play it, you should play it now because this is it.
It's not getting better than this.
No, and
But it might
I don't
get
think
be- I
it's
mean-
as good as the last few.
No.
but yeah.
It's so funny. I think even Battlefield 1 I enjoyed more.
Yeah, me too.
Even though people bag on the gunplay in Battlefield 1, and I think that's fair, but that whole it's weird that Battlefield 2042 looks worse than Battlefield 1.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's weird, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Like
weird.
I think Battlefield 1 was like the peak in terms of the graphics that we've seen and the production value that we've seen in a Battlefield game, and it was like everything kind of came together really, really well.
Yeah.
And then since then, it's just been like DICE just hasn't hit the same since then.
Yeah.
Because like even like the airships and like the scale of that game was like exceptional.
Oh, so cool. Oh
Bro,
yeah,
the
when the
first
airship
time-
would come crashing
Dude,
down in the
the
middle
Yeah,
of the map.
and it's like
Oh.
this has double the players, and yet
It's boring.
does not feel like that. Like just doesn't feel like there are moments where it's like chaos and it's like, oh, this is Battlefield, but it's like
It's very Call of Duty-ified, I
It
feel.
is.
it really is with the operators and like the operator skills. Like I really hope they just dump that because it's just
Yeah.
it's a valiant effort to try and do something new in a franchise that's been around for so long. But I just don't think I think it strays too far from it. I mean, it did. It strayed too far from the DNA of Battlefield to the point where they've tried to retrofit the old Battlefield class system back into the game to varying levels of success. I'd say. Like, I think it works for the most part, but
Yeah. It
as we said,
enough.
the fact that one class has healing and ammunition, it's like,
It's like the most useful class in the game for the
Yeah.
team, but
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
one wants
I'm
to play
really
it.
not sure. And I know I'm pretty sure a lot like other Battlefield games have had the same system. Like I think Battlefield 3 and 4 was the outlier where it had the assault class was the medic essentially.
Yeah, and I did like that they separated the ammo and the medic classes though. Like one was just ammo and one was just medic. So
The thing that I found with Battlefield 3 and 4 though was that when medic was just the assault class, everyone and
it
the
was
fact that
overpowered as fuck.
well, because you
Everyone
had
was
the
the assault
assault
class.
rifles, which were the dominant
Yeah.
weapon to use, and
I
you
really
had
liked it
medics.
in Bad Company 2 where the medics had
SMGs?
light machine guns. Sorry,
Yeah, light machine guns. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, that was
that was
very
my
fun.
favorite.
Yeah, I think but 2042 is good now.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Like
I think
at,
it's-
at,
it's
at
fine.
minimum good.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I think it's enough to have fun, but definitely not a good game to like play all the time and take seriously because it's just not that good. And also, it has some balancing issues still.
Definitely.
There are way too many vehicles that have guns and they have armor. It just like
Oh yeah.
I feel like I constantly have to play engineer just to stand a chance because it's just this
Constantly just shoot
a
down.
new vehicle shows up and it's got a big ass fucking gun on it.
I think they've run into the issue where each time they release a new battle pass with 2 new vehicles, they need to make those vehicles viable,
Better.
and so it's just power creep essentially.
Yeah,
like
pretty
you're
much.
because I don't necessarily remember too many vehicles being added to previous battlefields. Like, you know what I mean? Like like the Battlefield 3 like had, I know in like the endgame DLC they had like the bikes and they had like the hovercraft, right?
Yep.
But they weren't super powerful. They were
Or
more
mostly
fun.
transporty. Yeah.
Like I can't think of a time where they released a new vehicle that just totally ruined the whole experience. And to be
Definitely
fair,
not.
like I haven't been like a super hardcore Battlefield player. Like I'd probably say I've got maybe 100 to 150 hours on each Battlefield game, but like
Yeah.
that's kind of chump change compared to a hardcore player base, obviously. But yeah, I feel like I mean, you were talking about the stealth chopper.
Oh
Last
man,
time we
fuck those
played,
things.
Oh
and
my
it's like
god.
They need to die.
it's just yeah, I think it's just a matter of power creep because you need to make stuff feel viable, and so you're just constantly, I think a lot of games have that issue. Like
Yeah.
Destiny has that issue where you have to keep making stuff that's more, it's better than the last thing, so it's worth going after. It's worth doing the battle pass. It's worth playing more, keeping up engagement, and keeping up people playing, and keeping the servers,
Yeah.
populated. Um,
Those futuristic vehicles kind of pull the soul away from Battlefield as
It
well a bit.
does.
Just, I
Little
don't know, it
bit.
doesn't feel like Battlefield when you play it.
Yeah, I really hope they go back to. I would love another Battlefield set in like the Bad Company 2 era.
Oh, yeah.
That
That
would
would be good.
And I
Bad
have to
Company 3.
assume Bad Company 3's next, right?
Yeah.
Like I honestly thought before Battlefield 2042 got announced, I honestly thought they were going to do Bad Company 3
Yeah, me too.
because I feel like every time there's like the lead up to a Battlefield game, it's always like, oh, it's good. This has got to be Battlefield.
is it.
This
It's
has got to
Bad
be Bad
Company
Company
3.
3. It has to be because everyone talks about how good Bad Company 2 is, and like
Yeah.
that feels like the one that everyone can kind of point to as like the one of the peaks of the franchise. Because I know people, Battlefield 1 and 5 are a little bit contentious.
Yeah. I think they're good, but
Battlefield 5 had one of the best content drops they ever did,
Yeah.
where they added the Pacific stuff. Like,
Yeah,
that was
that
so
was
good.
fun.
That stuff is really
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that no one plays that anymore. So
or do you think we have a less of a chance of getting Bad Company 3 now that they've done 2042 Portal? And they're
Portal
starting
was
to-
just like, I mean,
Yeah, no
Portal
one plays
kind
it.
of
It came in
died,
and
to be
then
honest.
immediately got forgotten about.
To the point
Yeah.
where they just added all the Portal stuff into Battlefield 2042
Which is
normal
what they should have done to
multiplayer.
begin with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I know the idea with Portal was like they were going to add more maps and more weapons and more, eras of Battlefield,
Yeah, they stopped.
and they just
Yeah.
just never did. And then they had the Tarkov like mode, which I can't even.
Oh,
What was
yeah.
it called?
Oh,
I
never got to
remember
play
what it was
that.
called.
Incursion, inclusion.
Literally, what was it called, Seto?
like incursion or inclusion or something like that. It
I
was,
don't know. It's
I don't remember.
yeah, I don't remember. I never got to play it. I'm sad.
Never got to play it either.
Yeah.
And by the time we were almost going to play it, they stopped supporting it essentially.
Wait,
And the thing
really?
that really
It
sucks
got
is
shut
like
down.
the whole point of this operating system was built around that mode,
Yeah.
and then it just didn't become anything because it just there was no. And this was sort of like I remember seeing like a Jack Frags video about it.
Yeah.
Before the game came out, and he was saying like there's no draw to keep doing it. Like there's no, like you can go on a streak where you kind of extract the hard drives or whatever, and you can use some of your currency to get better weapons, but there's no reason to do that. Like there's no like actual like benefit to you know, if you really enjoy it, I guess that's the
You're
benefit.
just doing
but
it for the sake of doing it.
there's
yeah.
no loop to like there's no engaging loop, I guess, to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's why it kind of just like everyone stopped playing it because they were like, oh, this is kind of fun, but there's no reason to continue this. And I've sort of felt that with even like Modern Warfare 2's DMZ
yeah.
in Call of Duty, where it just doesn't.
Oh yeah, DMZ.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think Call of Duty's done a better job about it. Like each season, they remix the map and they remix the objectives, which I think I'm surprised Battlefield had literally no objectives. They had none of that. Which is a really big issue for a game that like that. That's sort of what it was missing, and they never kind of gave it a chance to kind of develop it. I guess.
When
I
did
guess the plague
2042
count.
come out?
2042 came out in 2021.
Okay. Yeah, so I reckon maybe in 2 years we're due for an announcement of a new Battlefield game.
Yeah, well, they got a lot of studios. I mean,
Yeah.
see, the issue is that I'm pretty sure they're kind of trying to keep the 2042 narrative going.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting, yeah.
Because now Vince Zampella is the head of Battlefield, and he did Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 and Titanfall 1 and 2. So like this guy fucking knows his stuff.
Yeah.
He's been the leader of a lot of fantastic FPSs. But I'm pretty sure one of the studios that's currently working on a single player narrative around 2042's story,
Okay.
which could be cool.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was a cool like lore when I first saw like the the like little when you first open the game you get like a little intro. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was like, oh, I could like play a story around that. That sounds fun. But
I'm looking up what's currently in development.
yeah.
So on the 8th of September 2022, they announced that the next Battlefield game was in development.
Okay.
and a new studio was making the campaign.
Okay.
So the new studio was called Ridgeline Games. I'm looking. So it seems like there's one Battlefield game in development right now, with one studio working on the multiplayer and the other studio working on the campaign for it.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, so I guess they never said they were continuing on the Battlefield 2042 storyline. Because the statement is, it's a great honor to have the opportunity to collaborate with DICE and Ripple Effect and lead the charge on expanding the narrative, storytelling, and character development opportunities in the Battlefield series. So it's just... Yeah, it's just the campaign for the next Battlefield. So they are doing a campaign, which is good.
Yeah.
Because I know it was funny, like when they announced there was no campaign for Battlefield 2042, I know there were a lot of people that were like, oh, what the fuck? Like, but I don't think they've ever really nailed a Battlefield campaign, to be honest. Like even Bad Company 2, like I think Call of Duty's actually been more successful at that.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you even look at like the peaks of like Doom Eternal and Titanfall 2. Like these are the games that like you could even go to like Half-Life, I guess technically is an FPS, but like Battlefield just never kind of hit. It's always just been
They're just there.
They're just there, and I've never felt like I need to complete them. Like for Call of Duty, there's always been like a ritual with it for me, where it's like day one, I'm playing the campaign. Day two is when I drop into multiplayer, and that's when I kind of spend most of my time. But that first day is always that first night. I'm always playing like the 6-hour campaign, just as like an intro, I guess, to the game. But Battlefield's never felt like that for me.
No,
I've never felt like I need to. Like I've started a lot of them. The one that I finished was Bad Company 2 because it did have that kind of that squad dynamic and the characters were actually interesting.
There was an actual story, yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but Battlefield 3 onwards has just been like spectacle, which is cool.
Yeah.
But super on rails, super I don't know. And I think Battlefield 1 is probably closer to like what Bad Company 2 did, but
I really liked the idea of Battlefield 1, like the little micro stories they had.
Yeah, the micro stories, they kind of interconnect.
It was a really good compromise of not doing a full one, but also getting that experience. But yeah, it's not great.
yeah, I just think I feel like the campaigns have almost felt a little bit like a half measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some cases. Bad Company 2 being the outlier there. But yeah, especially from Battlefield 3 onwards, it's felt like they're not quite... DICE isn't quite confident in doing a campaign, but it was almost felt like a mandatory thing they had to do.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And that's not to discredit the work they put into it, but it didn't feel as like fully integrated into the experience so much as like the Call of Duty campaign felt.
Yeah.
Like when Call of Duty announces, well, now they announce with multiplayer, but they used to announce with a campaign mission, and it felt like that was like the big deal. But even like Battlefield 1 and 5, I don't think they showed any. Like they maybe showed a trailer for the campaign, but they always announced with like 64-player multiplayer. Like it was always like that was, and maybe rightfully so. That was like the forefront of what they wanted to show off on the game. But
Yeah. Which makes sense why they didn't even bother putting it in this game.
sure, exactly. Yeah, totally. It's funny when people say like, oh, the campaign's whatever. Like even in Call of Duty when they missed it for Black Ops 4, it was like no one really plays just for the campaign. I'm sure there's some people out there that do, but it's like when it's there, it's like, oh, cool, that's good to have it there. But when it's gone, it's like, oh, I need it now. I need the campaign. Like it's always funny, like from like a consumer standpoint, how I guess people just feel like even if they're not necessarily going to engage with it super well, it's like you're missing a chunk of what you would get for the same price.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think 2042 is a decent package now.
Yeah. It's in the best state.
I think that's
I don't think it'll get better, to be honest with you. I think, except for maybe like tuning and.
How many seasons do you think are left of 2042? Do you think there's like an imminent announcement of like, okay, this is the final season for 2042? Because they did say they're going to support it more, but technically they are supporting it more now, right?
Yeah, there were only 3 seasons.
Season 5. Well, so 4 seasons were guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because it was in the deluxe edition or whatever. You get the battle passes for those. Now we're on season 5, so technically they're living up to their word of supporting it more. I'm curious what the player numbers are like now. Obviously on Steam it's not very high.
In Australia, I don't think they're great.
Yeah, that's just, as I said, it's always that's
no
the
sober
sucky thing
hours, so I
about
can't
living in
fucking
Australia
tell,
is
but-
like if a game doesn't immediately hit, you're just gonna lose people. Like I mean, people in the US can play like Black Ops 1 now, and I thought we couldn't. Like if you load up Black Ops 1 now, it's like it would take you 50 minutes to find a game probably.
Yeah, because in
Um,
Battlefield, there's most of the day you can't get a 128 conquest match,
That's crazy.
and you
Do
can
you
still
think they're
get a
just in other
64
Battlefield games?
because I think people filter down to the 64.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I can't do 128, so
Yeah.
they eventually
At
like
night you can get
yeah,
the 128s because it's peak time. But
yeah.
yeah,
I wonder if you could hop on Battlefield 1 now these days.
I reckon there's quite a few people playing 105. Yeah,
Hmm.
I've always find it weird when developers don't go back and add crossplay to their older games. And I'm sure it's a technical hurdle.
yeah,
But like if they added crossplay to like Battlefield 1 and 5 and even 4 and 3. Well 3 maybe not so much because it's not on next gen consoles. It's
may as well
only
play
on
4. Yeah,
Yeah, 4 and onwards.
I think the play numbers might bump quite a bit if they did that. Yeah,
Totally. But there's probably nothing in it for them to do so. Like
yeah,
they're not making any extra money from just more, people aren't gonna. I don't think people are necessarily gonna go and buy like Battlefield 1. And at this point, it's probably like $20. Like
yeah,
so.
definitely.
But yeah, no, I'm glad you're enjoying Battlefield
It's there.
again.
It's good
Yeah,
enough.
it's definitely there as like a rotation. Like we can't think of anything to play.
Yeah,
Play
pretty
some
much.
Battlefield. Yeah, but then we've got BattleBit now.
We
so
have
it's like-
BattleBit. I was gonna say we have BattleBit now, but
That's true. But as Nathan has said, BattleBit hurts my eyes sometimes.
Yeah,
After
I
extended
could only
times,
play it for a few
oh,
matches.
dude, from the flares.
no, just from like the blocky.
Just the art
so
style.
it's the art style. Like
Mm.
it doesn't like I think Minecraft's kind of hit that perfect. Like it doesn't hurt to look
The
at.
smooth thing.
It's
I don't
the
know.
smooth
Yeah.
blocks. Yeah,
It's not the
there's
first
something
game to
about
do it either. Like I've said this for lots of games that have that same art style.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Moving on to your
Alright.
game.
Yeah, the only game I played this week for about 25 minutes, but I did play it previously, like the previous week. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Diablo 4 Season 1. So when I played it on the first day, Shadow asked me, "Oh, how's Diablo 4 Season 1 going?" And I said, "It's more Diablo." And that's essentially where I'm at with it, where the seasonal kind of quirk, I guess, is that you're now going to these new dungeons to fight this new kind of enemy that is just essentially a reskin of other enemies that's slightly more difficult, who are the malignant. And you kill this malignant enemy, they'll drop a heart, you extract the heart, it spawns another enemy you kill, and then you have this malignant heart that kind of sits into 3 different categories. And those categories sit within your jewelry, so your 2 rings and your necklace. And that heart will give you a new ability. So you can have up to 3 new abilities that work similarly to aspects that you would have seen on legendary and up, legendary unique gear, basically. I mean, the thing is, like, Diablo 4 at the moment is it's more Diablo. Like, it's not like this is gonna like suddenly sell the game to anybody. Like, it's not gonna be like, oh, now they've made the game how it should be. It still has a lot of issues. Like, I still think you kind of get too committed into a player build where you have this build that you've worked 50 to 100 hours to get perfect, and then a patch comes out that completely negates the damage or whatever you were doing with that build, and you have to kind of redirect to a new kind of build, which requires you to grind up new uniques, new aspects. You need to redo your skill tree. You need to redo your Paragon board, which is a whole other thing after you get to level 50. And that requires resources, time, and money. And it's just like, when that happened, like my build in the Season 1 patch essentially made my sorcerer build like 25% worse. And sorceress was already kind of bad,
bad.
like already one of the weaker kind of characters where they're meant to be a glass cannon, but at the moment they're just glass. Like they're just like, they're not a cannon. They're just, at the moment, they're just getting fucking wrecked by everything. But I guess the benefit of seasons is that you do start a seasonal character. So now I'm working on a necromancer, which is remarkably more fun than playing on a sorceress, because I'm just like, my abilities actually can like 2-hit enemies now, and my survivability is worse than being a sorceress, but I do a shit ton of damage, which is always fun. And yeah, like I think there's I don't think this is, if you play Diablo 4 and you're like, oh, this is really my thing, like Season 1 isn't going to change your mind. I think it's just going to continue to give content to the people that really enjoy Diablo. And the loop is fun. Like, it's just really fun to just like tune out, put on music, put on a podcast, and just kill some demons, do some dungeons, do little bits bits and pieces here. I will say the battle pass is not like other Activision games where they want you to spend your entire fucking life over 3 months doing it.
That's nice.
I'm already at
Nice.
tier 40, and I haven't played that much. Like I've maybe put in probably like 10 to 15 hours so far. So it's manageable. It's something that I'll probably finish the battle pass and then, you know, dip in to get my character to level 100 here and there. But most of the time, I'll probably just drop onto another game once I get to tier 100.
Sorcerer level 100 yet?
No, my sorcerer is not level 100 yet.
Okay.
I got to level 65 with my sorcerer.
Mhm.
It is quite the slog from 50 to 100.
It is.
And I've heard people say that when you get to 85, you're halfway there, which sounds kind of awful.
Yeah.
Especially with the idea that you are going to be repeating a new character every 3 months with each season. But I'm not necessarily sure if the goal is to get to level 100 when it comes to seasonal characters. I think it is just to play with new characters, new builds. And if you get to the end of a season and you like how your character was playing and you want to continue them in the Eternal realm, it's split by seasonal and Eternal realms. Then I guess like you just bring them to the Eternal realm. So like my Necromancer, if I'm really enjoying how they're playing and season 2 patch comes out and I'm still really powerful in the Eternal realm, I can just keep them and then continue to get to level 100 in my own time. But the thing with that is like, I feel like most people are just going to keep doing the seasonal realm. Like,
You
Yeah, exactly.
get
Why would they-
anything if you play the like the what's the other realm that's not the seasonal one you just said?
the Eternal realm.
Yeah, Eternal. Yeah, do you get anything for playing that?
So the things that are changing in the Eternal realm now are the uniques and some aspects are being introduced each season. But the seasonal storyline, the battle pass, the new activity,
Yeah.
the malignant hearts, that's all only in the seasonal realm.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not like I'm surprised how I'm not super angry that I'm not playing my sorceress now. Like I thought I was gonna be like, oh, I don't feel as engaged now that I'm having to get a new character all the way up to 100 or get them to 50 plus or whatever I end up getting them to. But I actually like the variety. Like I think next season I'll probably do a druid, and then the season after I might do a barbarian. Like it doesn't feel like it's a nice fresh start kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that is good.
I think in other MMOs, like this isn't really an MMO, but it's more MMO than Diablo's ever been. Like even in Destiny,
I was going to make that
think-
example. Yeah.
there's a feeling that you kind of miss you miss the train, you miss the boat. Like you can
I'm
kind
hard
of
stock hunter.
you can kind of like you sort of lose the variety, and because you're kind of like, I'm chained to being a warlock because I put in 1,000 hours into being a warlock. And I do have a titan and a hunter, but I never use them basically unless I'm really grinding to do a day 1 raid and I'm doing all 3 characters at the beginning of an expansion. And even then, these days you don't even have to do that because they make it super accessible to get into to a raid on day 1. So I'm actually okay with the idea of restarting. Especially as it's pretty easy to get to endgame like 50 plus. Like I'm already 42 after 15 hours of just like doing some of the seasonal story stuff, getting some of the way they do the battle pass is really cool. They do it in like chapters, which are essentially like the weeks you would get in Destiny Seto. But the cool thing is Diablo doesn't gate them weekly. You can, if you really want to, you can grind out all 7 chapters in a week, or
that's
you
really
can do
nice,
it
okay.
as you want, as you go through it eventually. They do gate some of the seasonal stuff to completing a chapter. So like, for instance, I beat a chunk of the story for the seasonal story, and they were like, okay, now complete chapter 1 and 2. So then I go through, do those activities, and then I get a little bit more of the story, and they're like, okay, complete chapter 3 now. So they're gating it sort of by like doing those activities, doing those challenges. But they're all very easy. Like it's like, do 3 dungeons. It's like, okay, I can do that. It's stuff you're doing anyway. So it doesn't feel like sometimes in Destiny you have to like
Go out of your way.
kill 50 enemies on Europa with a pulse rifle. It's like, okay, well, I guess I've got to do this very specific thing. In Diablo, they've made it very, very approachable in terms of like, you probably don't even have to look at it, and you'll most likely do some of the challenges just by playing the game.
I like that.
I
Yeah.
do a lot.
So yeah, biggest surprises is Battle Pass isn't a fucking ridiculous time sink, and leveling doesn't feel as bad as I thought it was going to. So, all in all,
good.
I'm just enjoying kind of tuning out and playing Diablo whenever I've
good.
got some spare time. So, it's good stuff.
I still haven't played any more than when we played it.
I know. I know. I'm down to play whenever. I'm down to pick it up.
We got other games now.
I know.
Yeah,
now
that's
we got
usually we
Terraria.
have others.
That's fine. I'm not dying for it or anything. We'll play it at some point.
We will definitely do it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Now it's time to build the 100.
Yes.
Who has got their game ready? Go.
You not got one?
It's
I got one.
Oh, okay. I thought you were suggesting you didn't have one ready yet.
it's
I
getting
thought it
hard.
was. Well, I'm tossing up between a couple.
Okay.
But
It's getting difficult. Like we're getting to a point now where
you just don't play enough games, you know?
yeah, true.
I've still got I've got a stack. I'm good to go. I play too many games.
Yeah, there's a few that I've got. I kind of have to like pull down a level to put a few more in. But
that's
yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go first.
All right.
I am going to add. Oh man, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna add Halo 2 to the list.
Got a full stack Halo.
With full stack and Halo, the whole trilogy, and I think it deserves to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would. Where would I put this? Hold on, let me check out that list real quick. Where do I want to put Halo 2? I want to put Halo 2 at number. I don't want to put it too high, but it kind of deserves to be high. Like,
Yeah.
the only thing that I hate about Halo 2 is that it ends on a really dumb cliffhanger.
Mm.
But it was really fun playing through on Legendary
Yeah.
in like a like a really bad way. I want to put it at number 22. I would put it higher, but I don't want to just be like a block of Halo games. So
Yeah, I
we'll
was
spread them
gonna
out a
say
little
that.
bit. Because
Right
I
in
was
the
like,
middle
I
of the
put it
Halos.
right at fucking number 13. It's like, okay, but it's just all the Halo games there. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
All right. Nice. Nice. Cito, what are you putting in?
Oh, okay. I am gonna put Doom Eternal.
one.
I am gonna
I
put it right
totally
next to
forgot
the
we
other
didn't
one.
put this in the list yet.
Yeah.
Yep. I am gonna put it right next to the other one. I'm gonna put it at 47. I'm putting it right next to the other one.
So low.
It is
It's crazy.
It is low. But I.
Yeah, it's. I mean, at this point, it's so
It's
tough.
difficult,
It's so tough
right?
because like
Like,
there
that's the
is a lot of
issue.
fantastic games above
Yeah.
that
That's my issue. We'll reorganize it if we want to, but
at some point. Yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm fine with that.
As long as
That's
it's
okay.
on the list, that's my thought.
Yeah,
process.
it does. It definitely deserves to be here. Or some would disagree that it shouldn't be above Doom 2016, but I'm not one of those people. Doom Eternal's
I'm
fantastic.
not either.
I'm going
Nathan-
back in time again.
Nathan, you going back to an old game?
Yeah. I got a whole stack of old games.
Good, yeah. You've
Alright.
got the boomer vote.
This is a bit of a different one actually, because I've been putting all like your normal classic Nintendo games, and this is definitely a classic. But GoldenEye 007.
Oh
Good one.
yeah,
Great
Yeah.
choice.
classic.
Yeah, this is an OG.
You know, the only GoldenEye game I played was the shitty Activision remake on the 360.
Oh no! Oh,
It's so bad. They
no.
just made it like Call of Duty. It was awful. It
Yeah.
was really, really bad.
Whilst I really like this game, I'm not going to put it that high, just because it's, I don't know. Like, I think it's a great game back then. Obviously, to today's standards, it's not a very good game. It's purely just based on nostalgia. But I think there is good for this game.
69th game.
Yep, 63rd.
Oh no, I'm saying that
Oh,
was the
yeah.
We have 69 games.
We're gonna have
Very
the
nice. We need to
69
stop
games.
right now.
We need to take a month or two, put a hentai
The
game
top
and put it on
69
69.
games.
These are the 69 games.
These are the 69.
We've got a
games.
fantastic list here. I
One
mean,
of you
I don't
motherfuckers
think
needs to
anyone
come
has.
up with a game that's worse than Spore.
I think Mother 3 should be.
yeah. If you want to move
Let's
Mother 3
fucking
down
move it.
real quick.
Mother 3 should be at the bottom.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah, let's put
Luca.
Mother 3 at the bottom.
Yeah, put it at 150.
fucking hell. Man, Google Sheets, you're pissing me off. There we go.
Yeah, Google, fix your shit. You know.
Boom.
Yeah,
69.
perfect.
There
Yeah,
we
done
go.
it. I think that is adequate.
I'm gonna find a game next week that I'm gonna put at the bottom of the list. A
Thank
game
you.
that I feel I'm gonna find a game I really like. I'm gonna
My
put it at the
precious
bottom
Spore.
of the list.
You know, I saw a list the other day where it was the top 10 2D platformers of all time. Guess what number 1 was?
Hmm.
Because you would expect like, oh, Super Mario World, Super Mario 3. You know, some would even say like
I don't know, like Rayman
Celeste.
Legends. If you
Rayman
if you
Legends would also probably be on that list.
Yeah.
Terraria was number 1.
What?
They're taking. I mean, Terraria, fantastic game I've heard, but
Platformer?
2D platformer, I probably
platformer?
wouldn't put that on the list.
Huh?
They also had
Platformer?
Hollow Knight, which sure it's a platform. I wouldn't really classify that more as a 2D platform. It was a weird list.
That's a Metroidvania. Like,
It is definitely more Metroidvania. There is platforming involved, but yeah, I wouldn't consider that a.
They
Terraria
have-
is
do
definitely
they
not
have-
a platformer.
do they have
It is definitely
Ori
not.
and the Will of the
They
Wisp on
they were
there?
taking that as just like it's a 2D
2D.
game and you jump. Like, there is jumping involved.
Did they had Ori and the Will of the Wisp on the list?
They did actually.
Okay.
They did
then
have Aura, and that's
justifiable.
also not really.
But I would say it's more platformer. I could see them.
I'm gonna
like,
find the list again. Hold on.
We got to
Or
get
just-
some spice going.
They
Yeah,
had.
get some drama going.
Is this the list or is this a new list? Oh yeah,
This
this is the
2.0
list.
drop.
They had Broforce.
Broforce. Okay.
They had Braid, which is more of a 2D puzzle game.
Yeah, it's a puzzle.
Braid's the one with the time manipulation.
Yep.
But yeah, the top 3 was Terraria, Mega Man Zero,
Yeah. I don't know
and,
about Zero.
and Hollow Knight was number 3. The only
debating,
Mario
buddy.
games on the list were Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, number 7, and Super Mario Bros. 3, number 10.
Okay. That's interesting.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even
I
I know Super Mario Brothers 3 or World should be number 1 because everyone
Yeah.
says those are the games. Those are the 2D.
Yeah,
the 2D
World
Mario
or
games.
3 is everyone's.
And
cup of
Ori and the
tea.
Blind Forest was number 9. Super Meat Boy was on the list as well,
Okay.
which I think Super Meat
Okay.
Boy
That's a
good-
actually
that's
a good
that's
choice.
actually that's an inspired pick, I'd say.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot.
We should, what we should do? We should do like a top 10. I don't know, some genre. Maybe not
Top 10
2D platforms.
shit take of this
Yeah,
genre.
Tottenham shit takes.
Like I don't know, like top 10. I don't know, maybe FPSs, but that's I don't know. I feel like 3 of them will be Halo.
yeah, I
Just
feel like
Halos.
3 of them
Yeah.
will be Halo. 2 of them Doom.
Yeah.
Titanfall 2. No,
Maybe a
I'll
Battlefield.
come up with one because we should do like a genre that's like
Yeah,
like
that
that.
would be a good
Because
idea.
2D platformers, like I'm not really well versed in them.
Yeah,
And
fair.
Ben, I don't know if you play too many 2D
No.
platformers. And yeah, I definitely wouldn't put Terraria number 1 though. That's for sure.
No, not at all.
That's
Talk about Terraria. We're about to go play that. So here
We are
we
about to
are.
play Terraria. Next week, you'll hear all about Terraria. Anyways, that is going to do it for episode 25 of the 71st Hour Gaming Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. As always, you can find us on these links down below that we're just very up
Very
on social
active.
media, all active on x.com
Very
and,
active, bro.
and threads. Yeah, all those social media
Oh
platforms.
no, my
Nathan.
camera just
Oh my
died. Perfect timing.
And with that, we will say goodbye. Thank you for hanging out. See you next week.
Goodbye.